In Lesson 8.3, you will write two-step equations to represent real-life situations. In our first three examples, you're going to just translate sentences into equations. We did this earlier in the year with one-step equations. Now this time it's just going to be a two-step equation. 8 less than 3 times a number is negative 23. Remember, the word is going to be where your equal sign is. Now to write 8 less than 3 times a number. If you want 8 less than something, that means to take 8 away from it. So I'm going to take away 8 from 3 times a number. And I show 3 times a number by writing 3n. So right there is 8 less than 3 times a number is negative 23. 13 is 7 more than twice a number. Well, 13 is going to be your equal sign. 7 more than twice a number. 7 more than twice a number means to take a number times 2 and add 7 to it. So 2n plus 7. That's 7 more than twice a number is 13. And the third one, the quotient of a number and 4 decreased by 1 is equal to 5. Well, quotient means the answer to a division problem. So we're going to divide a number in 4. We can show that like this. So the quotient of a number and 4 decreased by 1 is equal to 5. Now you may want to pause the video and try the next three over here on your own. 15 equals 3 more than 6 times a number. Well, 6 times a number is 6n, and 3 more than that means to add 3. So there is 15 equals 3 more than 6 times a number. The difference between 12 and twice a number is 18. Difference means subtract. So we're going to say the difference between 12 and twice a number. So 12 minus twice a number. That right there is the difference between 12 and twice a number is 18. Remember, is where the equal sign goes. If 10 is increased by the quotient of a number and 6, so 10 is increased, that's going to be plus. The quotient of a number and 6, quotient, remember, is division. So the quotient of a number and 6 is n divided by 6, written like that. The result is 5, so equals 5. Now on to the real world examples. A personal trainer buys a weight bench for $500 and W weights for $25 each. The total cost of the purchase is $850. How many weights were purchased? Well, I know you can probably figure out a way to just get to your answer, but we're going to work on writing an algebraic equation that you can solve to get the answer. So if the total purchase is $850, you get to that total by taking the price of the weight bench, which is $500, plus W weights for $25 each. So we're going to add to that 25 times the number of weights, or 25W. So the weight bench plus the weights that are $25 each is going to equal $850. Now to solve that equation, you're going to get the W by itself by getting rid of this 500. We're going to subtract 500 from both sides. And we end up with 25W equals 350. Now to figure out what W is, instead of multiplying by 25, we're going to divide by 25. So you're going to take 350 and divide by 25. Which that is 14. So the number of weights is 14. So how many weights were purchased? 14 weights. The next example, you and your friend's lunch cost $19. Your lunch cost $3 more than your friend's. How much was your friend's lunch? Well, together, the total cost for the lunch was $19. So the total is going to be 19. What we don't know is how much our friend's lunch cost. So let's call it F for our friend's lunch. So my friend's lunch plus my lunch, and my lunch was $3 more than my friend's lunch. So the friend's lunch plus mine, which is going to be the friend's lunch plus 3, when you add those together, it has to equal 19. Now, before we go to solve this equation, we're going to want to combine like terms. We're going to want to put this 1F and 1F together. So 1F plus another 1F is 2Fs. So 2F plus 3 equals 19. Now to get the F by itself, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides to get rid of this plus 3. So we end up with 2F equals 19 take away 3, which is 16, and then divide by 2. Your friend's lunch is going to equal $8. We can go back and see if that makes any sense. If your lunch was $3 more than your friend's, that means your lunch was going to be 11. And then if you add 8 plus 11 together, you get 19. So it checks out. You may want to pause the video and try the last two examples on your own. So suppose the current temperature is 54 degrees. It's expected to rise 2 degrees for each hour for the next several hours. So 54 degrees plus 2 degrees each hour is going to look like this. And how many hours will the temperature be 78? So we want to know when that's going to equal 78 degrees. To get the h by itself, we're going to get rid of the 54 by subtracting 54 from both sides. So we end up with 2h equals 24. Then divide by 2. Because to undo 2 times h, you're going to divide by 2. And you end up with 1h equals 12. Or it's going to take 12 hours for the temperature to reach 78 degrees. The perimeter of a rectangle is 40 inches. The width is 8 inches shorter than the length. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. Well, if the length is L and the width is 8 inches shorter than the length, the width right here is going to be L minus 8. And we know that the perimeter is 40. So if we go and add all of these sides together, we're going to have L plus L minus 8 plus another L plus another L minus 8. And that's going to have to equal 40. Now you may want to go and put 1s in front of all these L's, and then you'll want to combine like terms on the left side. We're going to add all these L's together. 1L plus 1L plus 1L plus 1L is a total of 4 L's. And then we have a negative 8 and another negative 8. Negative 8 plus negative 8 is negative 16. So plus a negative 16, or just simply minus 16, equals 40. Now you would, to get L by itself, you would add 16 to both sides. So we end up with 4L equals 56. Now to undo 4 times L, you would divide by 4. So divide both sides by 4. L is going to equal 14. So that means the length is going to equal 14, and then the width would have to be 14 minus 8. 14 minus 8 is going to be 6. And now we could check to see if this works out, to see if the perimeter is 40. 14 plus 6 plus 14 plus 6, that's going to be 20 plus another 20, which is 40. It works out. So our length is 14. Our length is 14, and our width is 6. And these would be in inches.